You could just say it's the Trump special or something. Cold open for this one featured a little girl holding this series knockoff Godzilla while playing a knockoff Squid Game. Sorry kid, but this is just what happens when you look like that creepy robot. The episode proper opened at the Ojamajo school and Doremi realizing that she had forgotten her gym clothes. However, and while she did have a Terminator admirer who could drop them off for her, she did have the next best thing in a little sister with a flying broom.
Thank you very much!
Also, stop stealing my gimmick, damn it. They also held on this one husky kid who took note of his classmate's sister, though I'm sure this won't play into anything later.
Could I get any heavier foreshadowing?
Anyway, after school, Pop decided to head straight to the Mahojo, hoping to be the first one there. Along the way, she passed by Doremi's male classmates in an actually good bit of foreshadowing that we'll talk about more later. For now though, she ended up running right into the girl from the cold opener. She was named Kain, and after getting a basic traffic safety lesson from Pop, she ended up taking a disturbingly quick shine to the slightly older girl. Should I do the obvious joke? Nah, the scene is already creepy enough as is. But yeah, it was probably for the best that she stay away from this kid, as she'll either become an annoying fairy at their bakery, or possess a brat who will ruin a perfectly good ending to a visual novel series. Anyway, Pop managed to lose her thanks to some empty beer bottles. Oh wait, this is a kid's show. I mean, root beer bottles. Yeah, let's go with that. However, she ended up catching up with her again, and I did like this little bit of Kain actually following Pop's safety instructions. I mean, it is actually good to reinforce this stuff in a kid's show, and it even further highlighted her disturbing infatuation with Pop, so 2 birds with 1 stone.
I see this as an absolute win.
Eventually, she did actually lose the 3-wheeler bound kid thanks to some uphill physics. With that, she finally got to the Mahojo and told her story to the other Ojamajo. And for some reason, she sounded like half a dozen different Pokemon. And like a Jigglypuff who refuses to just give up, she eventually found the Mahojo and was reunited with her One-chan. And after Majrika almost exposed herself, Kain took her, and Pop had no choice but to play with her. Now kiss. No, not like this, not like this, not like this! But yeah, Pop agreed to essentially a hostage exchange under the condition that she play with the kid. Granted, some of their activities may have been a little difficult for her particular frame. Well, Miss, do what you can before your hips give out on you. Later, when the Ojamajo realized that they were running out of ribbons for their packaged goods, Doremi decided to make a quick shopping trip. Along the way, she witnessed the aforementioned boys of their class playing soccer, with the goalie of their team reminiscing about his sister. Gee, I wonder who that could be. I mean, who could be related to this, wait, what was this kid's name again?
Hirano-kun, doji da na?
What a twist!
Yeah, thanks for kind of needlessly spelling that out for us, show. I mean, Kain already gave her full name earlier, so if anything, this just makes Doremi feel a little absent-minded for not putting 2 and 2 together. Anyway, the newly formed sister pair at least moved on to other activities that weren't nearly as backbreaking. At least it wouldn't be as forced as becoming a precure. That said, Kain still expected the girl, who was barely any taller than her, to do other activities that she had done with her brother, like playing airplane. Like, I get that this kid probably doesn't understand the concept of weight and size differences, but I think it was pretty clear that her horsey was dying earlier, so don't expect her to suddenly become a Pegasus. However, she also didn't want to have a brother anymore, as she elaborated on the cold opener and how he totally just ditched her. Feeling bad for her, but not having the upper body strength needed, Pop managed to effectively convince Kain to play different games with her. And honestly, this is probably the best part of the episode, as it did highlight Pop's ingenuity that I don't think we've seen a lot in the season. Essentially, she played along with the kid long enough to the point that she could eventually divert the subject to different activities and the like. It was kind of devious, but also wholesome, as at the very least, she was still satisfying the kid by stimulating her curiosity and playful nature. This was then contrasted with the sibling who just up and left the kid unintended with her tricycle and not too far away from an open road. Yeah, can you tell who's gonna be my least favorite character in this episode? Granted, he did go back to look for her, but still, way too late, kid. Hirano did eventually stumble upon the Mahodo, and his sister's bike parked in front of it. With that, he went in and told his side of the story that somehow made him seem even worse. Like, seriously, dude, you could just let her watch your game rather than, again, leaving her unintended and, judging by her interaction with Pop, unfamiliarized with traffic safety.
You suck!
Funny thing is that they tried to have Doremi relate with him by saying that she did the same thing with Pop, but the problem is that they don't really show it, and I guess we're supposed to assume that she did something similar, which, yeah, I hope it wasn't exactly the same, and regardless, it doesn't really make Hirano look any better. Still, the Ojamajo want to do their part, and figured that they could help patch things up through their stomachs, and as it just so happened, they had 2 cakes left over for the day, a strawberry shortcake and a Mont Blanc. But rather than just asking which one each would prefer and fearing that they would fight over it, Doremi figured that they should just have the cakes do the fusion dance. And yeah, this just kind of felt like padding, as they had Doremi transform from a baker to an Ojamajo and then back again.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
I'll give them this, it did result in a really tasty looking cake, which apparently is kind of a thing, though they don't look nearly as good as this. So yeah, congratulations show, you made me want to eat some cake. Now if only I was a little more invested in this sibling plot. I mean, good on Hirano for giving his sister more than half of the Vegito cake, and even making it look nice, but Kain still wasn't willing to go with him, so he just left her again.
That was pointless.
Thus, it was left up to the Harakaze siblings to give one last push by pointing out all of the things that Pop wouldn't be able to do with her due to her smaller size and lack of strength. Because when all else fails, just gaslight the kid. Nah, but seriously, I did like this moment for the Harakaze sisters, who managed to tag team on the spot, showing how much their bonds have grown over the course of the series. And it was a clever usage of all of the previous scenes where Pop royally failed at doing the big brother things with Karin. With that, the little sister finally decided to go with her brother, who sure enough was weighing by the trike. Well, okay, I guess that was a kind of nice way to close out this episode. That said, it doesn't save this episode from being pretty meh. Obviously, my biggest issue with this episode was the Hirano siblings, who just didn't make for quite likable enough spotlight characters. It was somewhat saved by the relationship of our main siblings of the show, but really, it was nothing new for the series. Maybe it's because I've had a bit more of a neutral relationship with my own sibling, but I just really couldn't relate with the Hirano siblings. If I could, I might actually view their relationship a lot more negatively, though as is, it's just more aggravating than anything that they're so dysfunctional. And obviously, a lot of blame should go to the older brother, but Kain is also a bit of a clingy little brat. Whatever the case, this episode just didn't do a great job at making either of them all that likable or endearing. Instead, I think they were entirely meant to just be foils to highlight how far the Harakaze sisters have come since the beginning of the series, which, in that sense, this episode certainly did a good job with that, as well as showing that Pop is still fairly quick-witted. The problem was that it wasn't anything new for the series, or at least not better covered in other episodes. Thus, overall, and while there wasn't anything really bad here other than Hirano's irksome neglect of his little sister, this was just kind of a meh outing for me. When the most notable element of your episode is the fact that I can point out a couple of actor connections to Cure Cure Precure, this fusion cake might have needed a few more minutes in the oven. Thank you for watching, and if you want to have your cake get kneaded too, maybe you should watch some of our other videos on this channel. Another month is up, and we've remained rather productive throughout this year so far. I kind of wish we could be a little less so, but the season's almost over, so just have to cut it out. Look forward to whatever comes next. Until then, though, farewell for now, my friends. And if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna see what happens when you fuse a strawberry shortcake with a chocolate cake. Doesn't really taste like much.